And we're back with Blast the Process 3 on the ESA channel. Right here we have quite a treat for you guys. We have the Monsterfecta, 4 Monster World games in a row, any percent, run by Berlindude1.
Thanks very much for the introduction. So, hope you guys are ready for some crazy strats, some I die right now strats, and getting the many risky strats in the run. If everything goes wrong, I blame Chubus or Kick-Ass Pancakes, just to let you know. So, I picked up the 4 best games of the Wonder Boy series. We already played in the last Blast the Process 06. But yeah, Wonder Boy 1 and Wonder Boy Monster Lair are a little bit different. So I created the category called Monsterfecta, what are the best 4 games in the franchise. And yeah, we play any percent, and it will be definitely not easy, but I will try that it looks very easy. I hope you're ready. I think I'll give you the countdown whenever you're ready, guys. So it is 3, 2, 1, go. And we are starting. Thank you. So yeah, Wonder Boy Monsterland. Second game in the Wonder Boy franchise. Cool about this game is definitely that it changed the direction. Before it was like Adventure Island, if you know Adventure Island. And what we are doing right now, we are farming money, but we don't have any luck here. It's fine. So we had a really bad pattern. So the RNG in this game, for example, is the gold drop. It can be between 1 and 6, and we didn't have so much. We need 80 gold actually to buy some shoes. So we just hope for the best. And yeah, I will try to explain here and there things in this game as much as possible. But yeah. To be honest, many of the games are not so easy to explain because yeah, you have to concentrate yourself. You play on really high risk. You play on low HP many times, for example, in this game to just make this last animation every round as short as possible. So yeah, there will be some like situations where I'm not talking so much. That's fine actually. So Wonder Boy Monsterland, like I already mentioned, is the second game in the franchise, and the game was before, if you know Adventure Island. Wonder Boy 1 was exactly the same. Came for the arcade. But then they changed the direction completely into this kind of franchise where you are like a guy with a sword collecting armor and stuff. And that franchise continued in that way. And that's what we have right now. And yeah, this game has like 12 rounds. And all the games are kind of connected. Wonder Boy 2 ending is like the Wonder Boy 3 beginning. And yeah, definitely a really cool franchise, but speedruns of this are actually kind of hard in many ways. Because like I already said, you play on low HP. Where's the heart? Here's the heart. I just want to show you the heart so we are a little bit safer here. And yeah, already mentioned in the end of every round you have a counter. What brings the hearts down and brings it up again. And if you are like as low as your HP is, as faster it goes actually. I'm not killing this time this guy because you never know. We have only 1 potion in this game. And if we lose the potion and then lose again our hearts, we are actually game overing. So don't expect me to play on the super limit. So we will play definitely kind of not super safe, but safer than a normal run. So like I said, a game over is like you cannot continue anymore from the part you game over. You have to start from the beginning, and that's definitely a hard thing from the arcade. This game was also in the arcade, ported to the console, and as you know, many of the arcade games are actually having a high difficulty to get the coins from you. So in that case here, you have the situation that this game is actually not having any continuous like other games. So you can actually not save anyway. The only thing what you can is playing not too risky. Monster Hunter World. Now this is Wonder Boy in Monsterland, an 8-bit game for the Sega Master System. It was ported, I think, only to the Master System, and also in Brazil to the Master System with some different characters. But yeah, this is not Monster Hunter World, this is Wonder Boy in Monsterland. And here it's a thread what I just found out. You're bonking this guy, so you stun lock him and then you kill him. As far as we go in this game, as more is hidden, there comes right now a kind of a big RNG point. It is the swings. The swings is asking you something, like asking us a question, and 2 of these answers can be right, 1 is always wrong, and it's completely random. You never know which one is correct actually, so you have to guess. And if not, you have to fight the swings actually. And if you fight the swings, it's 30-40 seconds time loss. If you get the right answer directly, you are saving that time. So yeah, this is the first really big reset point in that game. Let's see what the swings is giving us. And like I said, the gold is a big RNG factor. These guys can drop between 30 and 45. We got exactly both of the limits. And yeah, you need to have at least 308 gold here, because you want to have 380 gold to buy the legendary boots. And now we are going into the swings, and let's see what kind of question the swings is telling us. And we had the right answer, luckily. So we had good RNG in that case. And we passed the swings without fighting, happily. And that gives us now the advantage to save some time. But yeah, you are still on very low armor, so a lot of hits can be really dangerous. And that is the quick kill of the ghost. So yeah, the biggest problem with this game is definitely that to play it on a really fast pace, you really have to play on a risky strat, playing on low HP. But you can actually play it really safe if you want, always getting big cards and everything. But you can stun lock a lot of enemies, as you can see. And the equipment what we are doing is actually only the legendary sword, the weakest shield, the heavy armor, and also the legendary boots, what we already have. This stage what we are seeing right now is actually not in the arcade, it's only in the Master System. It's an extra round with 2 extra bosses, we only fight 1 extra boss. The Medusa. So yeah, you will not find this level here in the arcade one, only here. And this is also a pattern I just found out by myself using the thunder. We actually bought 3 thunder, and these 3 thunder we actually use in a special way here and there. So yeah, all the thunders we just bought had been used in special ways. 1 to pass 2 guys who blocked the way to the island. 1 to kill all the bats, and 1 here to set up the Medusa quick kill. So yeah, you see, like, this game is kind of really pretty optimized. When I started speedrunning this game, the world record was 16 minutes and 47 seconds. And now it's 13 minutes and 5 seconds. Just to let you know how much the game is now really optimized. So I brought the world record down by 3.5 minutes or 3 minutes 40 seconds in any percent. And a really annoying sound is this one here, when you're on low HP. And you have to be careful. If you bonk the enemies, of course, you lose stuff and everything. But yeah, like I said, we play on really low HP. And now we have actually the equipment we will use until the end. Because it's all on the way and it's the best what you can actually take without stopping. The shield is a funny thing because the shield actually blocks the same like a legendary shield, so the shield is actually not really helping, doesn't matter which one you have, it blocks as it blocks, you know? So it makes actually no difference. And the iframes in this game are really long. Later we will play a game of the Wonder Boy where the iframes are super short, Wonder Boy and Monster World. But yeah, most of the iframes in this game, like this game really helps with the iframes. So you can pass a lot of enemies. You saw that already, like of course you just want to enjoy the run and I don't want to explain too much things here and there. But just to mention, you use a lot of these iframes because they are super long to just pass enemies instead of killing them. A normal casual player would of course wait here, kill that, use that and try that. But here as a speedrun you just use the iframes and you can actually damage boost yourself forward if you're just going into the right direction. And we are actually right now in the end of the game already. Now comes the last dungeon for us here. And actually a casual player find out a new route for the last dungeon. What saves actually 40 seconds, and I'm very happy that he found that, let's say, quick route for the last dungeon. Interesting part about this is like here is a section what brings many runners or casual players really on their nerves. You have to jump on blocks to go up, and if you fall down you have to go back, kill some red knights on the way and then try it again. So this is actually a labyrinth, and this labyrinth you just have to know the right way. But yeah, there are a lot of points where you actually can be really frustrated, especially when you're a casual player. And you see that clock on the right side. When the clock goes down and it's finished, you lose a heart and you only have one refill potion. So that's the hardest part. Like you cannot even take your time as much as you want. In the other games later you don't have this problem with the time. But in this game actually the time is running down. And you lose every time a heart when this is going down. So in this dungeon, without even doing anything except running, you lose 3 hearts just because of that sand clock. And now comes this jumping part, and I will be a little bit quiet. So, hard stuff done in this game mostly. Now come the bosses, they're also of course hard, but this is really a really strong hard thing. And yeah, goes completely on the nerves. Because yeah, like I already mentioned, if you fall down you have to do everything again and try to play this casually. This looks so easy for sure when you watch it, but it's actually super hard. Just use here the damage boost. And now we are actually already in the last boss. And 2 phases of the bosses and then we're already done with this game and going into the next game. So this was the first one, the second one has even one more fire. Okay, now we have to be a little bit more careful. And he's done. This guy can one-hit you, even if you don't think that, but he can actually one-hit you. Let's go into the next game. Game 1 done, game 2 starts. Cool, so Wonder Boy 3, The Dragon's Trap, got a remake. If you watched Blast the Process 3 today, you were already seeing that remake, Wonder Boy The Dragon's Trap. And this is actually the original one. You can swap between original graphics and normal graphics in the remake. And this is like the original one. So if you liked Wonder Boy The Dragon's Trap, hopefully you will like this also. Has the same things what you saw already with the speedrun with the Tasmanian sword. And the introduction of the game is actually the same, like already mentioned. You start here like the ending of Wonder Boy 2. And now we are just collecting a little bit money because we have to. And then we are getting transformed into the lizard man. And have to bring ourselves back into the human form. Which monster word the best monster word? It's a difficult question actually. I would say that this one here, Wonder Boy 3, The Dragon's Trap, is actually a really good one because it got also remastered. Best graphics will be definitely Monster Word 4, what you will see the last game. But it's actually a taste thing. Many people have say this is the best here, or others say last one is the best. I would say all have kind of a charm, but this one has definitely the coolest combination of music, and definitely enjoyable all four. But yeah, everybody has a different taste, to be honest. Here we use a small skip. Instead of waiting for the bridge, we are just damage boosting ourselves up, and then we are out. Why I'm a dragon? Okay, so the story in Wonder Boy 3, The Dragon's Trap, is actually that they wrote the story in a new way. They say you fight that last dragon what you fought in Wonder Boy 2, and he cursed you. He cursed you with that blue flame. And to get your human body back, you have to find the Salamander Cross. And the Salamander Cross is you have to defeat actually a lot of dragons to get a new form, and in the end you fight the last dragon and then you get the Salamander Cross. And that's what we are already on the way. So this is Lizard Man. Lizard Man can duck, can throw fire, and can go actually into the lava without dying, but every form of animal what we get right now has different possibilities or abilities. And this one, like I said, can actually throw fire. It's actually the weakest of all. That damage what we are doing right now is actually on purpose, because we want to bring it down. In the end, we have to kill ourselves anyway to make Death Warp. So the Death Warp is actually cool because we don't have to run to the end again, to the beginning again. We just use the Death Warp because we are just here to get a key to open a door. The bad thing is, of course, we lose our potion, but the good thing is we directly start in the beginning again. He looks cute when he curls up. Yeah, when he gets hit, he's looking really sweet. So here's the damage boost and the Death Warp, and now we hope we get a potion. Let's see if we have the good luck, the good pattern. I don't think so. No, it's not, I guess. So it's one over the heart. Yep, but it's okay. It's that Wonder Boy. Actually, yeah, when you die, like you saw, you see like the soul of Wonder Boy. So it's actually still Wonder Boy, just in the lizard form. And to mention one thing, in the Master System there had actually be just two buttons and a pause button on the console. So to go into that menu, you actually have to press the pause button and then pause it again. So there's not a start button like in other consoles. You had to use that pause button to go into the menu. It's completely crazy. So we play, of course, very hardcore with only one heart. Wonder Ghost correctly. So yeah, we play with one heart. This is actually a pattern what I already knew. So you actually can have patterns in this game. And yeah, I found them out because I was playing a lot this game. So this guy will just shoot up here because it's a special pattern, like I already said. So yeah, if we would bonk these flowers, we would be directly dead because we don't have a potion and we only have one heart. You can get until 8 hearts back here. You just have to find them in the right order. The first one is actually directly in the beginning, but yeah, we will try to skip that and play. I was pressing down right and he was shooting left down. Sure. Well, let's do it again. Okay, we just lost 1 minute, I guess. Yeah, let me just take that heart because I don't know if this happens again. That was actually really funny. I was pressing down right and he was just going left and I died. Yeah, a total of 3 hours. So I just took right now the second heart for safety because I don't want that this happens again. It actually happened also in the last Monsterfecta run that I was dying there for no reason. So I think I cannot play these games on marathons. So yeah, we have to do everything again. We lost everything what we just collected, except the gold. And now we just have to do this part again. But this time I took another heart. You're weak. So let's see if we are passing it this time. So, it's actually really funny if you press a special input and you don't get that. But in any case, it's not a big deal, it's just some time loss, you know. And with a second heart it should be actually fine. So, directions, you know, in 8-bit games are sometimes really funny. And you have a really low armor situation. And because of the low armor situation, of course, you are dying very quickly when you get hit by something. But it happens, it's not a big deal actually. I mean, so you saw like really how risky that run is what we are playing right now. Because one hit and you're actually dead. Just because of shooting, like I shoot it at this way. And you see like he's dead right now, but yeah, the biggest problem about this run is definitely low armor and low hearts. And that makes that run definitely not so easy. Well, I'm half German to be honest. I'm half German, half Greek, so I guess I am not so typical German, making mistakes here and there. So yeah, let's see if we get more mistakes. I mean, the good thing about this is actually that you see that I'm human and not Taz, and that Germans can fail every time. Here you have some patterns actually, what you just continue. It's not a big deal. And here you have these trampoline situations and this guy just walks on it. And yeah, we play this whole game with really low HP situation and just trying to get as fast as possible forward. So here we are just taking right now the potion. We are right in front of the door of the first boss. Test confirmed. I was never a Test, I had never been a Test. I mean, if you saw my streams, I actually rage a lot when something like that would happen, but since we are on the marathon, it's fine, I would say. So, this is Mummy Dragon. You can use actually another shot with the firestorm on him. He has a special pattern. If you hit him, you see the HP on the top right, and the top right shows when he's dead. You can make 4 shots into him if you have firebolts. He can come directly down. It's kind of an RNG thing, or in that case a pattern thing. So yeah, you just shoot at him. You can hit him 3 times and then he can come down again, or he just stays in the position where you can actually not hit him. And if you're lucky, he's coming down. But it is kind of a global timer thing, what you have to do. So we just killed him, and we are changing right now into the Mouse Man. Mouse Man. Mouse Man has the ability, not only that he has a shield and a sword finally, that he can walk on yellow blocks. So these yellow blocks, what you're seeing, he can actually connect to them over the top and on the ground. So, like I said, every character has a special ability, and Mouseman can actually walk on yellow blocks. And we have, I think, 6 characters in total, but we were not using all of them because we used the Tasmanian sword in the end. The cool part about this game is that the Tasmanian sword, you can actually even use the human form. In the remake, you can only use the forms what you already finished, like what you get already by getting cursed. So in this game you can actually also transform into every form of character what you even didn't get. But the bad thing about this game is actually that you have to take charm stones. The charm stones have a different way in the remake, like they are really special. But here you need actually 5 charm stones to buy a special armor called the Dragon Mail. And there are 2 ways. You get a charm stone on the way, or you get a drop from that armor by killing one enemy. So it's also luck based. But yeah, let's see if we get at least the luck of getting a charm stone drop. What would be really nice, because then we don't have to go for backup strats getting a charm stone by somebody else. We will see. In any case, now we have a little bit more armor as Mouseman, and as you can see, there was no blade what you could buy. So there are 2 ways of charms. One charm is actually the charm stones, and one is the armor what you just have. So the armor also decides what kind of charm you have. So you see me sometimes in this game especially buying an armor and then in the next way buying finally the thing what you need, like the blade or whatever, because you then have enough charm. So you go inside, equip that armor, and then you have enough charm to buy the next thing. And this is how this Dragon Mail also functions, that armor what actually allows you to run in the lava. You need 5 charm stones. If not, you cannot buy that because you don't have enough charm. So you need 5 charm stones, and you have gotten from the game 4 for free, and you need 1 by lucky drop, or if you don't get the lucky drop by going with the backup strats. But I actually really hope that we get at least 1 luck situation with a charmstone drop from the enemies. The chances are, I think, 1 to 16 that a charmstone can come from special enemies. So not very high, but you can see how luck based this run actually is here and there. You also can hope for that drop of the Dragon Mail, what is like saving 300 gold. So if you really want to optimize this game, you actually need to play full risk, and then after 20 minutes you hope for 1 drop, and if not, you have to reset again. So good luck with improving the time. Definitely not easy. So we are going here again into the labyrinth as Mouseman. and collect some money so we have enough. Some of their heads so big. Well, don't ask me, ask the programmers. So we got here a boomerang, it's not important anymore. It would be nice if we had gotten a boomerang earlier. And you hear that dungeon music, and this is like always when you're entering a dungeon. And definitely enjoyable music. And as I said, if we don't get a charmstone drop during that labyrinth part here, where we go from the left to the right, we actually have to do a backup strats, because if not, the run could die quickly, because we would not have, like, we can still get a drop, or like I said, that dragon may also drop that armor from an enemy, but it's too risky actually for a run like that, and it could be that I have to farm 3 or 4 minutes at one enemy just to get a charmstone drop, what we don't want. So let's see if we get luck or not luck. So you just go here from the left to the right, and you get a like really funny music. Charm the dragons, yeah. And now we are just falling down, and this is like kind of a relaxing point, and you get a different music. And then you start on the right side, and you go again up, and on the top right there's actually the boss door. I don't know if you saw that, but there's the next boss actually we are fighting. His name is, what was it? Zombie Dragon. He looks like a zombie. And here we have to just scare them away instead of fight them, because they make a ton of damage. Like I already mentioned, we are on really low armor situation, and that's why I just took the second heart for safety, because yeah, one hit and we are dead actually, or we lose in that case the potion. You can buy actually quicker the potions again here, there are some rooms, but yeah, actually not recommended. So there are 2 more enemies right now upcoming what can drop a charmstone. If they don't drop a charmstone, we just go for the backup strat, because we have no other choice. Why? Because too risky to hope for a charmstone drop later when we are actually going for that part. Last enemy, no charmstone. We go for the backup strats, we get a charmstone in a treasure, and then we are safe for that run, definitely. And here's the boss, Zombie Dragon. And really easy fight actually. He's coming out, you just hit him, and you just hope for good RNG that you're making critical damage. Critical damage is always 8 in that case. You can also make 4 damage or sometimes 3 damage, so you just want always to make 8 damage. Best pattern is like always 8 and only 1 4. But you never know, it's a global timer thing, I can actually not explain it. Somebody has to watch into the game code to understand when it comes and how it comes. But it's a global timer thing. Same like with that Dragon Mare drop or that Charmstone drop. All depends what actions you're doing before, when you hit somebody before, what you're taking before. You're too weak, mouse boy. Well, I would love to see you speedrunning that game and then we talk again. That would be fun, definitely watch. Somebody, like most of the people are actually dying directly in the beginning. So it's fine. So he's dead. We are just going for the backup strats. And now we are Piranha Man. Agent Mulder. So we are going here. Just take some money here. And the funny part about this game is actually that every key functions for every door. So what you don't have to take a special key for a special door many times. Every key is for every door. And yeah, so we are using right now actually a key what was for the entrance of the dungeon. Again, we just take it with us. So we are using it then later for another door what we just pick up. So that's actually a cool part. So you can use keys as much as you want. And here's the backup strat. Here's actually a treasure where you can get money and you can get 1 more charmstone for free. And then we go just again in the right way, and here we have the 5th charmstone, so we are safe. Going back into the beginning and then going the actual right way. There are 2 swords we have to pick up to finish the game. The one is the Thunder Sword, what we are right now trying to get. But we only get it if we get the Dragon Mail drop or the Dragon Mail as buying it. And the second one is the Magical Saber, where you can actually make blocks when there is a special background. And you will see later why, because it's the only way to finish the game, because you have to create a block and you have to destroy a block to go to the last dungeon. There's the charm stone. How funny. If we would have gone for the charm stone here without going for the back up, we would have actually right now a run. So that was the lucky drop I was mentioning. Really funny actually. So, lucky, but we didn't even need it. So we have five tornadoes. We actually need them, and we try them right now because there is a situation, like I said, where we are actually hoping here for a Dragon Mare drop. So here's the one enemy, and he didn't drop actually the Dragon Mare as a drop, just money. It's completely luck. So yeah, didn't had a luck to get that drop actually. So we have enough charm right now, and with the enough charm what we have, we just buy that armor called Dragon Mail from that guy here. Get some money here. And we need like 1480 gold to buy then the Tasmanian sword. And with that Dragon Mail actually we can go into lava. And you are seeing right now a part what we could never pass because the lava part is actually too long. Where's the water guy best suited for the lava world, you might wonder. Kind of. So yeah, you have that, like I said, that Dragon Mare as armor, and you can imagine how crazy it is when you're just hoping for that drop after 20 minutes in the run. So yeah, I'm very happy that you can at least get another charm stone. But the charm stones are actually really annoying because you need enough to buy armor later. So there is another category called all bosses percent, where you are actually not using the Tasmanian sword and fight all the bosses. And there you need actually really an extra charm stone drop to don't lose time, because if not you don't have the chance to buy the one armor or armors later. So now we are just got the thunder sword, what you can break blocks, as you can see. And now we are just going into the riskiest part. There's a way right now here we have to go to get the Tasmanian sword, but many of the enemies are actually for Lion Man, and Lion Man is actually the last form before Birdman. But we are going right now inside that dungeon, normally having better equipped armor, but we are just avoiding damage as much as possible and try not to die here. No love for Lizard guy. Lizard Man is actually only, you have it in the beginning and that's it. He's really weak actually, but yeah, it's not a big deal actually. You will see him always when I'm changing my forms, but Lizard Man we actually don't need. And the funny part also is for Lizard Man, if you are changing not in one room in the end, and you are shooting to Lizard Man fire, you can break the game completely. So the game would be broken, you would not have the possibility to continue, you have to start all over again. So Lizard Man can actually break completely the game out. And it was really funny because when it happened the first time, I was showing that to the community, and they tried to bring that kind of glitch or whatever into the remake, but actually it didn't work there. So it's only in the old version. And here we just buy the Tasmanian sword. And the Tasmanian sword actually functions a little bit different here. Like I already said, you can change into all the forms you even didn't have to collect, and you can actually glitch towards with the human form, because you're actually not allowed to be human. We are just glitching through wards with him here and there. There you go. And we need like 2000 gold right now. Just taking here the money. And there we're just glitching again. And now we are just changing into the Birdman, because actually here in the down is the next dungeon for Lion to change into the Birdman. But since we can change into every form, we are just changing into the Birdman, fly up, because it would be actually throw us out here. And we are just taking here the hardest armor. And the hardest armor is a very special way. I will explain later. So now we are just taking the second saber, what we definitely need, and then we go as Birdman into the old castle, where we just get changed into the Lizardman, and there we are just picking up the legendary sword, because we want to fight the last boss really fast, and that is only possible with the legendary sword and the human form. So yeah, we are like right now collecting the last item before we are going to the final boss. And the run, I think the world record is 28 minutes 54 seconds. And all bosses max time from 42 minutes. So yeah, you can see like 12 minutes difference to fight every boss and to do all dungeons. But definitely really enjoyable run. And if you like playing Wonder Boy again, yeah, we play Wonder Boy again and the last boss, but actually we should not see that character Wonder Boy before we are actually collecting that Salamander Cross. So actually you are not allowed to see that character before, but since we have the Tasmanian sword, we get our friend Wonder Boy. We fight the last boss actually with the form what we want to get in that game, what is really funny. So yeah, definitely really cool, that Tasmanian sword, because you can fight the last boss with the form you actually want to get back. And we are not seeing, also, if we would see the ending, we would not see all the forms what we got before flying away. So if you would kill him as a Birdman, you would see all the characters just flying away, all the cursed animals you had used, until the human form comes out. How did we got the sword again? You needed 1480 gold. There's a secret shop, and you needed like some armor what I just equipped before, and then you actually can buy that. So you just go into a secret shop what is hidden in the way to the Japanese dungeon. And here's the reason why we need that two swords what I was mentioning. You need the magical saber to make one block here, and you need the thunder saber, or at least that ability, to destroy that. And why we are equipping the hardest armor is very easy. There's actually a glitch. So the hardest armor is actually refilling our HP every time, so it functions like a unlimited potion. What helps us finishing that game with one heart or no potions. So you have like unlimited potions right now, what makes the speedrun even actually possible. If not, it would be like a really precise movement thing here. And they fixed that in the remake. So there you go actually with 3 potions and low HP to finish the game. But you have to be really careful so you're not dying. No, we cannot die. you can like always get it. You cannot die. Like you would die if you would change your armor right now in something else, of course. But you cannot die if you stay with the hardest armor. But the actual intended way of the hardest armor was that that the hardest armor is actually only one refill of the potion, and then it's gone, and you have to equip something else. But somehow, don't ask me why, the programmers made it that it is not disappearing if you are selecting it. I think in that room or in the last dungeon. Don't ask me. But it's actually not disappearing. Oh, that was actually perfect. Something that functioned in that game. Cool. So yeah, you have actually here's actually the part. If I would not have changed there into from Lizardman to the next form, I would have broken the game perhaps. I would have destroyed the sprites. It would be looking really pixeling. So yeah, you have actually an infinite situation of potions, and that makes that game even playable or easier playable as a speedrun. Like I said, in the remake Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap, you don't have that anymore. You have only like one refill with the hardest armor, and that's it, and it disappears. And that's why I think they're taking like 3 potions, because you can maximum take 3 potions and then hope to don't die in the last dungeon. Okay, so we are about to go into the last part of the game. We are here, like in all bosses you would always change your form into the next one. It's like you're showing again, the game shows again which ability every character has, like swimming or running and whatever. So in all bosses you would just have to change in rooms into that form. And now we are just in front of the boss door as a bird, and we are changing right now into the human form, take the legendary sword, and fight this guy with a form what we actually want to get back by the Salamander Cross. Time would be in that case for that run, when we would catch that Salamander Cross. This guy is completely random. He can fly around, throw thunders, and 4 hits actually, or 5, he's dead. Depends always. You see, like he's really annoying, and he can fly around in the top how long he wants. You never know, like when he's coming down. He can troll, like you see, forever. And then you can finally kill him. We touched the Salamander Cross, and we are up to the next game. Wonder Boy and Monster World, definitely the hardest game in this Monsterfecta run. Really cool actually to watch, but super hard. So, we are in the 3rd game. Really risky run. A lot of low armor situation, low heart situation. And there's actually one situation in the game where it could be that I die. I have to explain that it is like we are actually skipping a dungeon and play with really low HP, and it could be that one hit kills me to the climb to the dragons. So I hope I'm making it correct, but I just wanted to mention, if that happens, I would lose 4 or 5 minutes just to try it again. So I hope you're all fine that if this would happen, that I just take in that case a save state from that part and try again, because we don't want to lose just 5 minutes by trying to do this again. Anyway, this was a gold manipulation you were just seeing to get here the boots. They're just you need a special pattern to do that. This is Mega Drive, I think Genesis. This is the Genesis because US. Yeah, they are very similar. It's like, that's why I was selecting them as called as Monsterfecta, because they have all like kind of the same idea behind. You have like the same thing with sword and shield and equipment, and that's why I was selecting these 4, because they're all kind of connected to each other and they all look kind of the same, except that the last game is actually a game where you are playing a girl, Monsterfecta 4. That mic quality. Is my mic destroyed or what? I'm sorry for that. Not on purpose, I swear. In any case, don't feel mad if you don't have the perfect quality, because yeah, I don't have like all the technique things like so many others have in setup, so I'm just here to speedrun games and help save the children, and that's it. I'm just helping people, you know, not helping myself. From the moon base. That would be nice actually, but I couldn't breathe there. So yeah, we are in the 3rd game, and like I already mentioned, hardest game. Normally you have to go back to this girl to learn songs for the doors, but since we already know them, we are just doing that fast. The iframes are really short about your character and the enemies in this game, so you just have to use the iframes in the right way, you know? And here's the ocarina, and if you know Zelda, there was always the question, where was the ocarina first? Was it here or was it in Zelda? You don't know. Cool, so 3 doors, 3 melodies you have to learn, or you have to know. And you have a really small sword. It looks so easy actually, that speedrun I guess to watch. But it's actually really hard because that sword is super short. And many times you are too close to the enemy. So you see me many times actually covering on the ground. Just to hit these enemies. And we are about to fight the first big boss here. The Mushroom King. Collecting some hearts before, so we are actually good equipped. And fight this guy with a mini sword. Normally you're buying a spear, but here this time you're just fighting him with a mini sword. The Gradio is what you got from the beginning. And if you would stop, he would just do funny stuff with throwing out some mushrooms, but we don't want that. So this was the Mushroom King Mechanoid, and in the moment if he would stop, he would open his middle and there would be throwing out some mushrooms, and that can be really annoying because he would always run away, throw some mushrooms out more and more until the end. To be a little bit safer here, we are just taking here some gold to have enough money to buy an extra potion, because there comes a really dangerous part also with jungle guys, would make 1.5 hearts damage, and it's always good to have an extra potion what can give us 3 hearts back, so we don't have the problem to lose the run in the one dungeon what is upcoming then. So here we have the funny magic called Firestorm. The Firestorm magic is really funny because you see that magic many times just flying around the enemy and not touching it, so they really programmed it really poorly. But we have to live with that. It's the first magic we get actually. And it can be really annoying. Many times also the Firestorm is hitting that enemy, so the enemy gets pushed into you and you lose like HP because that Firestorm is actually not helping you, it's going against you. And that's actually really annoying, to be honest. Do we ever get a new sword? Yeah, we get right now, we get a new sword. Oh, this guy. So this guy can jump, run, and sometimes he just does funny parts. Now, we get a new sword right now. Yeah, you see like the equipment of that is really annoying. If you would directly go into that door right now, it would say it's closed, so you have to go up here, talk with one woman, then she said the door is open finally, and then you can go inside. And then we are just equipping ourselves for the next part, what is getting a new sword, getting new boots, and in that case also getting a new potion, an extra potion what I was mentioning what cost 50 extra, that's why we were collecting some money there. So we are a little bit more safer, since like you already saw that one guy took us away 1.5 hearts just because he was jumping around. And yeah, you have only one potion and then it's a game over thing. And you need actually a potion for the one skipping dungeon to pass the desert. And then you come up with really low HP actually. So here's the new sword, what we are getting. It's the Knight Sword. Then we get the leather boots, what are really fast to climb up and down at the same speed like the boots we already have. And then we are just buying the potion, what I was just mentioning, so we are a little bit safer in that run. And this game has really nice music actually, but it's really hardcore from gaming. So we are just selecting everything right now. And you see we have now a much bigger sword, but still the iframes of the character are super short. And the patterns of the enemies are completely unforgivable also. The spiders and everything. So we can actually use the ropes, but that's super slow. So you're not getting so much damage actually from this water what you're here. So you just jump around here and you are losing around like half a heart in the whole thing. We don't want to be in the mud, of course, from the beginning, but it's okay. So, all the enemies are making still really high damage. We didn't even have a better armor right now, so we are playing still with a lower armor. And these guys can actually drop a heart if we are lucky. That was lucky, actually. The spiders can only drop money. It's always better, of course, to just kill them on the way, but you can actually try to jump between them, like here. And yeah, this guy just makes 1 heart damage. So just to be safe, if we would get one more hit, of course, I would just activate that potion already. 250 gold, 250 M, no, 250 gold. If we would talk with that girl, she would say her brother was getting kidnapped and now we are just trying to rescue that guy. In the inns you can actually save and you can refresh your HP. And here we have these guys. These guys can just walk around, or they can jump, or they can throw hammers, up to 4 hammers. And they make 1.5 hearts damage every time when you get hit by them. So you have to be really careful. The iframes of the enemies, like I already mentioned, are really short. And we are just using right now the potion, so we are safe. So you just throw 4 times, as you can see. And these guys are the biggest reset point in this game, together with some other parts, because they can really force you to lose your potion. You can get a new potion later. So you just fight these guys until 3 are dead and 2 are just running away. And you actually cannot see what kind of pattern they give you. They can really do just the walk, can the jump, or can throw hammers at you, and you actually cannot see it. It's like you actually cannot see it. You just have to hope that they're doing the right pattern, that they're making a long walk and helping you in that case. So now we are just rescued this little poor guy, this brother of her. And without him, we would not even have the possibility to get into the next dungeon. She's saying, "Ah, thanks for rescuing," and he wants to come with you. And now we are getting into the ruins. And this small guy just opens the door. So we get, if we want, every time a character what is helping us. Like every area gives us some helping guys. Okay. Yeah, that was not nice, correct? But yeah, every section of the game you can get actually a character what is helping you. And this dwarf guy is actually finding secret doors for you and finding secret money what you can actually use. And we are still on very low armor, so getting hit by so many things can really mess us up in many parts. It's like Mouseman. Yeah, kind of. So we have good HP right now, but there's actually a way that we could right now get here an elixir. Let's take that just for safety. And you see that this guy can actually throw just money out. It's completely RNG where they are, these skeleton guys. And it's really important to have an elixir for the next section later. Why? Because like I already mentioned, there is a section where we are passing one desert completely, and if we would not have the elixir, we would not have the possibility to pass that. We would die on the way. So that's why we need one elixir with us, and that's why we always have to recollect it if we somehow lost it before. Here is like a button question thing, and now we are fighting the stone faces, Greg and Black, and they throw just here these small stones, and they can open quickly or shortly, and we have to kill one of them to then kill the other one. Looks very easy, it's definitely another not so easy part. But the iframes are very short. We just collected it and get the trident, and we will use a lot this trident because this trident has a bigger range than every other weapon, and this will be our main weapon in most of the run until now, until we get the legendary sword later. So we are buying some faster boots, the marina boots here, and we are buying a new potion because we need that for the desert. And we are just selecting the things that was always used to get you. Yeah, this boss is like not easy because he throws big stones and small stones at the same time. And also the beginning is RNG, you don't know when they're opening and throwing it, so you have to be really ready about that. Yeah, Greg and Black, correct. And yeah, like I already mentioned, the hotels you can actually save, and there will be now saving situations here and save. But we are not saving it, we are just talking with her, because next time when we get this save thing, we are just going back into the last hotel. Yeah, it's definitely not easy, trust me. And we need that elixir, like I already said, and if we would have lost it, we could have the chance to get another elixir. But for that we have to make the water dungeon, like 2-3 minutes we have to go in that. So, and here we are just fighting these guys. Normally in that game, if you don't know how to continue, you have like the ocarina, and there's a shop what tells you, okay, if you give me the ocarina, I'll tell you where the hidden amulet is. But since we know where the hidden amulet is and where we have to go, we don't have to give the ocarina away, we are just going there. So we stay with the ocarina. And here this fish guy can be in the top or just in the down. It's always good when he stays in the top. We need 235 gold right now to buy the next armor and go into the next time in the hotel. So here is just the way where we are just using a lot of magic. All the enemies on the screen are actually then getting killed. And we have 3 thunders right now. And we already have enough money, so we don't have to wait for this guy here, that he's dropping something for us. Yeah, so, like I already mentioned, we would have go there in the top, you saw a little bit to the shop, and then we would have given the ocarina, and then he tells us where you can find that secret amulet, what you actually need. But we already know it. It's between these these 4 trees, and this amulet we actually need. Didn't get the platform. It's okay. So now we are just collecting here in magic. I want to mention that every time when you're getting into the hotel inn, your magic gets refilled completely. So it's not like you use it and then it's gone. It's like you have possibility of like 3 thunders in the moment. I think 6 firestorms. So every time when you go into the hotel, you can use again as much magic as you already collected. So it functions a little bit different to the other games where you just collect it on the way, whatever you collect, and then use it, and then it's gone. So you have like always like not infinite magic, but the magic as much as you already collected, like selected. And what we are just doing right now is we are just opening that box here and get that return thing. And the return is actually really important because it brings you always back to the last place where you had been actually in the inn, and that is this one here. And now we are just buying the next armor what we have. This is actually the best armor until the last dungeon what we have. It's called Heart Armor. And we are just equipping it, and that's it. And just every time, like I said, when you used the return and go into the inn, you get your magic back. So we get our return magic back. Not talking to you guys too. I mean, I'm talking in front. Am I not talking to you guys? I'm sorry if that is kind of I don't know. I'm watching the game. Of course. Do you want that I watch more straight into the camera? I'm watching the game. Do you want me to watch more to you guys and watch less to the game? Sure, no problem. Let me die more of it. Yeah, I'm watching the game, I'm sorry. If you think that I'm not watching you, it's not because I don't want to watch you. It's just I watch the game. So we are just right now collecting 6 hearts, and there are some special armor. My mouth. Yeah, my camera is shit. I'm sorry. Sorry for the words. I know language and everything, but I already told you. I'm sorry. My setup is definitely not the best. You will for sure see a lot of much better streamers in the world than me. My webcam is not good. My game feed is not good. So yeah, I'm really sorry that you have that setup and it looks like I'm not moving my mouth. But it's just the passion of the games what brought me into speedrun, and perhaps one day I get a better setup for you guys. So, now comes this part I was already mentioning. Now comes the part when we could really actually die. We are going to the desert, and there's a trick where we can actually pass these enemies by holding a direction, down and right. And like I already mentioned, we will enter the pyramid with really low health, and it could be really dangerous, especially when we get hit here and there. Later we have to climb to the dragons, and if we are just not getting any hits, we are having the possibility to get 1 hit on the climb maximum, but that's it. So a really hardcore part, since we are skipping that desert completely. And shoutouts to everybody who found that, but it's super hard, and hopefully we can do that and don't die. So we are just collecting here that key, And now we are just going into that dungeon, what we are not allowed, because normally we need some special boots, the Oasis boots, what we have to equip, so we can pass that desert without losing any HP. But since we are not having them, in the combination what we have right now, we are just losing HP and going into the dungeon. No? Here. Okay. So, now come some enemies, the ghosts. The ghosts are actually really annoying. They can fly through you and just destroy all of your HP. But, yeah, we are playing here a little bit safer, so we hopefully don't lose any of the runs here. So now comes the hard part, like I already mentioned. And you just saw that the firestorm can actually push the enemies into your direction. And yeah, we have two magics here, the thunder and the firestorm. And you can only hit these guys actually when they are visible. And that they are visible is like a 50-50 chance. New runner found that out. And you see that the firestorm can really troll around the enemies. So we are like playing a little bit safer. Hopefully we don't get any hits here. Gina, nothing. As long as you enjoy the run, everything is fine, guys. But like I said, my passion is more higher for the speedrun than setting up my stream. I just want to speedrun the games and show some speedruns here and there. But I'm not so focused on the setups actually as much as others perhaps. So we just waited here a little bit. And now we didn't get any damage, what is actually good. So we have the chance to have an extra hit in the climb to the dragons. So even when we lost here a little bit seconds, we should be fine. Monster Hunter World Games. No, it's 4 Wonder Boy or Monster World Games. It's called, not Monster Hunter World. So we have here a quiz. We need to answer 4 of 5 answers correctly to get into the next part. And yeah, like I already mentioned, we are on really low HP. It looks like we can have at least 1 hit extra. And then we climb to the dragons, and if we pass that, then the hardest part actually is kind of gone. And we are more safe. Which of these stores does not sell weapons? It's the Felissimo. How much does a Charmstone cost? It's 500,000. Which of these monsters did you fight for? So was the Mushroom King, the Mechaniloid? What's the first type of magic you acquired? It's the Firestorm, that funny thing what fire. On the last one you just can mash because you already answered 4 correctly. And we got it correctly. Nice, lucky. So now we are just climbing to the dragons, and like I already mentioned, we are on really low HP right now. So a little bit riskier, that part right now. But better having at least, I think, 1 hit for free than being more safe, less safe and having no hit for free. So we are collecting some parts here, what you always see, pygmy things it's called. Why? Because when we are collecting them, there's later a dungeon where we can only enter if we have these pigment items. These pigment items make us small to a mini Wonder Boy, and that's why we have to collect them. And now we are just climbing to the dragon, and I will be shutting up because this is the hardest part in this game actually. Okay, good that we had one hit for free. So we passed that. I didn't have to use, like I mentioned, the save state. And we reached the dragons. So you see, that was not easy. The guys can throw spears, they can jump, or they can just walk. And one hit, if you're like getting hit before, one hit and you're dead, and you have to do everything again. So, we managed to make this part happen in a good way. And now we are just going to the next dungeon. Another hardcore dungeon. We are still in low armor, and they're coming penguins, and the penguins make a lot of damage. We are on ice, coming on ice platforms. There's actually the good part is we can actually refill ourselves in the hotel, so it is actually not the worst thing. So we don't have to worry. But of course it would be better if we just have enough HP so we don't have to go to the hotel. So we are just going here into the ice world part. And then have some penguins. The penguins can just walk or just jump. And every time when you're attacking them, they jump again at you. And the iframes are super short, but it's actually not so easy. Hopefully I can make it look very easy, but it's actually not. And we have only these 6 hearts, we don't have any more elixir. The elixir we get later, when we are fighting some bosses. So these are the only things what we get. Of course some enemies can drop HP, small hearts, but yeah, the elixir is actually coming much later. This is a very tight jump, what you just saw. Looks very easy when you get it first try, but it's actually not. And here is the ice part coming up, and the ice part is another big reset situation of the game, because a lot of enemies with a lot of damage, and yeah, shutting up again. Same situation like before, because we don't want to lose that run. These guys can follow you or spawn again behind you. It's okay. Okay, I think we have to go to the hotel, it looks like. Yeah, we have to go to the hotel. If this guy is not dropping a big heart, we go safety into the hotel, because it's too low, the HP. Of course in a PB run I would just go, but with 2 hearts and a little bit, it's like 2 hits and we would just die. So we are just here going into the hotel, refresh our 6 hearts again. It's just like 20-30 seconds time loss. We also was safe, so in any case we just can continue from here again. And now we are going into the ice castle, and we are just selecting the quakes, and it's fine. My favorite Monster Boy game, difficult to say. I would say Wonder Boy 3 The Dragon's Trap is something what is really in my mind, but also Monster Boy 4 because of graphics. This will be the game after that. You will see that, and I hope you will enjoy it. It's the runner talking. Yeah, it's me, even when you are not seeing my mouth because of my crazy bad webcam. I am sorry. One day I will be having a better webcam for you guys. I swear. It's also very dark here because my light is not the biggest one right now. So just watch the game and hear my voice and think you see my lips talking. Or like this, like you saw, like I got 2 hits from that monkey, and I got like 2 hearts getting killed, and that would bring me already with 2 hearts into the situation that I would be almost dead. This guy can walk or jump, and luckily he was walking. So this is RNG if he just jumps up. So we had been good RNG actually, that he just walked under us. Yeah, really hard stuff here, what you're seeing. Even when it looks super easy. Oh, we got an extra elixir, that's funny. Happening not very often that you get an extra elixir. Oh, it's word record of speaking. So we got an extra elixir actually, what is really rare. So some of the apes can actually drop elixir. And luckily we got one. And here is like the last thing, the pygmy boots. And now we have equipped all the pygmy stuff, what we need actually for later going into the next dungeon. And we are on ice, so we would of course slide. That's why we are continuing with the jumping, so we can set up that fight. Each of these creatures we are fighting right now would make 1.5 hearts damage, so you have to be really careful that you don't get hit from this guy. But yeah, of course, speedrunners know what to do. And now we are just going to a special jump here. Looks easier than it is. Very precise. Big bag of swag. We're going to the next monster. That monster would actually drop a potion. Since we got a potion by that one ape, luckily, from nowhere, this guy would drop only a heart, what we actually don't need. But if we would get right now damage from these guys, we would have used the heart to refill ourselves again. And now we're just going up, perhaps? Going up and just open the door to the boss. And then we fight the Ice Bomber, is his name called. It's a snowman, throwing some mini snowmans, but hopefully you will not see his attack. His mini snowmans. So we put the gems inside here to open the door. You can actually see the door even when the door is not yet there by the shadow here. Now we're just going into the door here, sliding a little bit. And fight the Ice Bomber using a Firestorm first. And then hopefully killing him with a power item. The power item is really cool. It doubles the attack. That's what we're always using in that speedrun, especially in the end. So he can shoot like you saw, he wanted to. And then we just use that power item. And one more. Come on, come on, come on. One more. There you go. Okay, we got him. Didn't get any hits. And we fought him. We have still 6 hearts. And now we go into the volcano as Mini Wonder Boy. We are just collecting the best shoes what we want. And we are here collecting an extra potion. funny part is if you move and you press pause, you don't go into the menu, you just get a normal pause. You have to stop actually to get that menu, what is kind of weird. I don't actually understand why. So, you mean a person who's talking with the stomach, like having some Muppets, like these puppies or whatever? Could be, yeah. So, we are going now into the next dungeon. And we fight actually a guy, the Tyrone Dragon. He's really annoying. He can really mess you up. He can jump and let's see what kind of pattern we get. But in any case, we are coming closer to the end of this game. And then we have one more game left, the Monsterfecta run with Asha, a girl. That's why it's not called Wonder Boy, because you play actually a girl in the last Wonder Boy game. She's really cute. She has also a small blue thing called Pepe Logo. There's a new game called Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom. If you would like to see a new Wonder Boy game, just try that out. It has also a storyline with all the Wonder Boy games behind. Didn't play it until now, but I definitely recommend that game if you're liking the Wonder Boy games. It's like the last game, the latest game in the Wonder Boy series, and it's part of the Wonder Boy series actually. Called Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom came out I think this year, so definitely a really good game I heard. We'll definitely try that out in the future. It is on Switch, yeah. I think even on other stores. But I think especially on the Switch, I think it also comes out for Steam or is already on Steam and other stores. So definitely playable for most of the collections and connections. Yeah. So here you can see it. And the creators of the Monster Boy game actually brought in the last minute the story of the Wonder Boy franchise in. Like before they had the problem that they didn't have the rights to use Wonder Boy, that's why they called it Monster Boy. But they in the end got the rights of Sega, I think, that they can use the name Wonder Boy, but they stayed with Monster Boy, the name. Didn't want to change it anymore, but they brought at least the story of the Wonder Boy franchise. Many of the characters get actually mentioned in that game in the end, I heard. So definitely, if you like that franchise and you want to see how it continues and how it fits everything together, like connects everything together, you should play that definitely. Whenever it comes out, not making any, what is it called, commercial things here. And these birds can be really annoying, as you can see. So yeah, the iframes of this character are super short. They changed that again in the next game. When you are playing Asha, the iframes are better again. But the biggest critic point on this game definitely is that the iframes are super short in this game. And you get so much damage, like infinite damage. And you can do nothing many times. Like also you're like here the small guy, and you have to be really close to the enemy to actually hit that guy. And now we fight this Tyrone Dragon. He's really annoying, trust me. He can be really nice just staying around. Or just jump around, walking. He can be on that part. I cannot even hit him, as you can see. And you just hope that he comes down. So he can be out of range, or here just in the range. He can be doing really weird patterns. And we use a lot this power item, like I already mentioned. And this was the Tyrant Dragon. He can be killing a lot of time of you. There will be coming the next boss, the Demon Knight, what is also a boss what can be killing a lot of time and even killing one potion away from you when you get like infinite damage here and there. So yeah, this game is really stressful when you're speedrunning it. You get now the legendary sword, but this guy has to make it, so you have to talk with the dragon again. And after you talk with the dragon, you get that legendary sword, and then you're actually ready, because you get legendary armor and legendary shield in the last before you're getting out of space. So that's why we are playing with really low things, because we get the best things actually in the end of the dungeon. And now we're just, since we used the hotel in the ice part, we have to go back to the one hotel what we want. If we would not have used that hotel, we would actually have the chance to teleport there with a safe, with the return magic. But it's only a 20-second walk here, so it's fine. So we go into the next hotel and then we get back into the normal form. So we don't actually have to talk with that one guy that he's transforming us back. We just have to go into the hotel, and then we are back into our form, our human form, big form. You just select the leopard, and we are selecting also the Quake for the dungeon, for the upcoming dungeon, or the dungeons in that case. And we are collecting the last heart on the way. What we are bring us to 8 hearts. We can actually collect until 15 hearts, I think, in this game, but we only collect 8 because with 8 we can actually kill everybody without losing time. So there are some enemies, if you would not have 8 hearts, where you would use the Quake and they would be not dead, you have to kill them. So we are here taking that heart number 8, what is actually on the way, to have not that problem that we have not enough hearts to kill some enemies later. These guys can jump or just walk, you see that. And they make a ton of damage, as you can see. So since we got hit right now, we hope for a heart drop from the bats. We have 3 bats in the way, if not we have to just get the heart on the way, but it's not a big deal. It's just a small time loss here. And this is a reminder to the Wonder Boy, the Dragon's Trap, and Wonder Boy in Monsterland. The music and the Labyrinth Dungeon. If you would go to the wrong direction, you would actually land again in the beginning. So they used again this kind of idea of the Wonder Boy games before, going into a dungeon with a labyrinth part where you actually have to make a searching situation that you actually don't know where you have to go, and if you go into the wrong way, you would have to do it all again. Luckily you don't have this clock thing like in Wonder Boy in Monsterland, where you actually lose always a heart when you're just waiting too long. But still, they used a lot of things from the other Wonder Boy games before in the combination. So you have like the same thing. Here are the legendary boots actually in the ground, but we don't need them. So if you need like all equipped, you have actually to jump down here and then take that. But we are staying with the boots we have, the ceramic boots and the leather boots. And here is actually the treasure what I was mentioning, where you can get an extra potion or an heart when you have the potion. And now we are just collected the legendary armor. Oops, wait. I made one mistake. So you actually go here in and out. Never made that mistake actually before. So here you are up again. I was thinking I was going out. And now we are just here using the Quake to kill these enemies. They would not be getting killed in the moment when you would not have 8 hearts. So that's why we are having right now 8 hearts. And now we are just equipping our legendary stuff, and now we are like perfect equipped. And if you would lose that ropes, what are bringing you into that positions, you would have to do that whole room again. We have some mini bosses upcoming before we are fighting the Demon Knight. No, 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 no. That's good. And now we have a dragon, and many of the songs are actually from the other Wonder Boy games. This is the boss music from Wonder Boy 3. And here we use just the trick to use different boots to climb to that rope. It's a small skip actually. Nice. We got the lucky situation that this bunny was not hitting us, so he was like there's a Japanese version of this game and English version, and in the Japanese version that bunny head is actually not shooting at you. So they made the English version much harder. Also the last boss has a rotating platform and more lasers and everything, so it is one of the first time that you have actually a game what was made for Japanese market and English market, where the English version is harder than the Japanese version. Normally it's the other way, that the Japanese want to have a harder game, that's what I know, but this game actually has the opposite. So they made some of the bosses harder. They made the last boss really hard because, like I said, you have a rotating blade on the ground and a rotation platform goes to the right and left, and you have two lasers, and we call in the Japanese version the end boss, for example, a joke, because we know how hard he is actually in that English version. This music is actually a remake of the game Wonder Boy 3 Monster Lair, what was an arcade game and get ported also to the Sega consoles. Really cool music actually from one of the last dungeons before you beat the game in Wonder Boy 3 Monster Lair. And we actually have to bring our HP down. Why? Because we get shooted by the last boss twice before we are having unskippable cutscenes, so it's actually not bad that we are losing HP. We want to have one heart and something in the end. Thank you for the good luck, by the way. So we have 3 hearts. These guys what are just there, these guys what are shooting lasers, everyone could drop a heart, so if I would need hearts, I would just have to kill one of these guys, and then we would just get directly hearts. You just see right now when I use the Quake, my last Quake in that way, we just get here the hearts, and we can just actually collect that. The iframes are short, like I already mentioned, so you get like really quickly your HP down if you want. And we have here the refights of the bosses. He does not let me go. This guy is really annoying when you're playing him as Mini Wonder Boy. Mini Shion is the name of the character. And yeah, since we have the legendary armor and the legendary shield, of course, we don't get so much damage. If we would here play with lower armor, we would have a lot of problems because all the bosses would make super hard high damage. So, coming up, hey, stop hitting me. The last boss in the refights, the Ice Bomber. come to you. Ay, ay, ay. That's not good. Or he can just stay there wherever he is. So if you would go out of this door actually faster, the problem would be that you would have the situation that you have to fight him again. So you have to wait until he's disappearing, and then you can go out. Hey, let me down. And now we're going to the last boss. And fight Biomecha. And Biomecha is super hard in English. So again, I will be just not talking in that. We have an unskippable cutscene right now. Enjoy the fight, and I will start talking again when we are reaching Monster World 4. No! Oh my god, okay guys. I know it's not correct to do that right now, but we fight him again. Oh my god. Okay guys, you didn't see that. You didn't saw that. This happens when you cannot hit him because of that rotation blade. So I actually have to use that, what I didn't want to use that. If not, we have to do everything again. Let's fight him again. Marathon run would be over. So, he's done. I'm sorry for that. But you can see how hard this freaking run is. I would never do that, of course, if I would go for PB attempts. And we are going into the next game, the last one, Monster World 4. And yeah, that run would be that, of course, on a PB run right now. But since we are having a showcase, first try, yeah. Since we have a showcase, we are now in Monster World 4. But you can see how hard Wonder Boy and Monster World is actually. And we are in the coolest game in my eyes of the franchise, but only released in Japanese in the beginning, later in the Monster World collection also with the English text. It's called Monster World 4. You play Asha in an Arabic world. You have the possibilities to run by double tapping. You have also a sword, and since you have 3 buttons, one button is used to use your helper later. His name is Pepe Logo. It's your blue friend, and yeah, really cool game. We are playing here any percent with debug merchant. What does it mean? We are playing with a secret shop, what gives us the best armor actually, and the best sword. With the best armor you can actually have directly 15 hearts, and with the best sword you can actually kill a lot of enemies by 2 hits or 1 hit. So definitely a really cool game. The creators, like, that was one of the last Genesis or Mega Drive games, because the Sega Saturn was already out, and like I said, it was only a release only in Japan, and came much later, and I think called the Monster World Collection on the European and American market and all the world market with English text. But it's a pity actually that this game never came out actually for the other markets, just later when they brought it into a collection. Has wonderful music, cool graphics, cool things, definitely to watch, and really fast pace, because Asha can really run, and it makes definitely fun to watch the whole speed run. It's much safer than the other runs, because you can actually directly refill your hearts if you want into 15 because of the legendary armor. But the beginning is still hard because you have only 3 hearts, and if you are losing the 3 hearts, you're dead, of course. Biomecha is super hard. The problem about Biomecha is like the lasers are always in your way. Also, Biomecha has a rotating blade on the ground, and the platform board goes always in every direction. Even with the legendary armor, you lose a heart every time from the lasers or bonking that Biomecha, and it is super risky, that run, to play it. And if you just have the wrong pattern and the lasers are in your way, you have no chance, even with 2 potions, to finish it. So that's why the speedrun is super hard. There are so many things what can go wrong, like the desert part when we are skipping that dungeon, or the ice part with the penguins where we don't go to the hotel. I think you can feel how much time you actually have to spend to get a really good time in Wonder Boy and Monster World in their American version, the US version. The Japanese version is much easier. This game has 2 categories actually. One is any percent with Debug Merchant, and one is just any percent. The difference is in Debug Merchant, like I said, you have a secret shop where you go and buy your stuff, your legendary stuff, and any percent is just playing it normal without that secret shop and just beat all dungeons. We are skipping here actually one dungeon by our mechanics called the Infinite Jump. So yeah, you don't see actually one dungeon, what is also in that game. You can only see the last dungeon. Also, you don't see Asha flying on a flying carpet, because the last dungeon actually you have to fly on a magic carpet to find that. But since we skipped that dungeon, you will not see that. You will just see 3 dungeons. And a lot of wiggling, definitely. Really cute character, really cool animated. Like I already said, the end time of the Mega Drive and Genesis, but definitely a game what had been coming out much earlier. We are doing right now a key skip, hopefully I get it. No, not like that. Go, go, go. No. So normally you can reach that top here and you just skip that part. You just go there up, but I messed it up. So I have to do the normal way, what is killing these guys. And then you are just going on the top and run around. But you can actually use the one enemy to jump on that, but I just messed it up. What can happen? Yeah, right. Veo was learning that game, and he was learning like that this game, Wonder Boy and Monster World, Wonder Boy 5, is actually super hard. And getting a sub 1 hour is the goal of many people in the beginning, and my PB is right now 15 minutes and 22 seconds. So Not a bad time. World record is 48 minutes, I think. But Sagas is a god, so if you want to try to get a world record in the game Wonder Boy and Monster World, good luck with that. Hard as hell. Yeah, the animation of the enemies is also funny. Some enemies are having really funny, how is it called? Characteristics. I don't know. I cannot talk actually. So we just stun lock that boss. And Tower of Silence done. Oh, okay, we have to select him, of course. Magic werewolf. So this is the ghost, the lamp ghost, and he brings us to places where we want. He would also help us. You don't understand anything about this game, of course, right now. Yeah, Shantae was actually getting inspired by this game, Wonder Boy, Monster World 4. The creators even mentioned that they saw this game and they got inspired. So everybody who loves Shantae, the idea came from this game. And now we are coming to that debug merchant. So we are just having here a secret shop where the guy is always giving us money, and we just can get every legendary stuff what we want, but we actually just need the legendary armor and the legendary sword. We can actually, if we want, also get the legendary shield, but a shield is a shield in this game. It can help us getting protected in the air, but you can actually even block with your lowest shield what you have already many of the enemy patterns, so you don't actually need that legendary shield. And we are just going to the Queen, and we have now equipped the legendary sword and the legendary armor. There's a place where we later get our friend Pepelogo out of the egg, and there every time when you are just praying there, you can actually refill all of your hearts. So if you're low on HP, you can actually use that. Another thing what refills hearts is small hearts, of course, on the way, what can be dropped or stay, or a big heart, what some of the mini bosses are dropping, what also refill completely your hearts. And you can have actually until 30 hearts, if I'm not wrong. So you can also collect some blue things like blue tears. And when you're collecting 10 of them, you get an extra heart. In that case, 30. And White Saphir is actually giving you some hints of that game because he's speedrunning that game also. So you get a lot of information definitely during that run, since he's another speedrun colleague of me. And he knows the game much better than me, and he was also speedrunning that game, Monster World 4, on AGDQ 2019. So definitely, if you have any questions to that game, feel free to ask, because he knows definitely everything about this game. So you see already some answers from some questions. And now we get Pepelogo, our friend. Pepelogo is very helpful. With him we can make double jumps and we can use the infinite jumps, what you will see a lot. The wine drop crisis counter for it was to open the one dungeon. So we had this, you mean this blue ball, right? This crisis blue thing what we collected in the beginning. That is actually to open the Tower of Silence. And here we go into the first dungeon and we have our friend Pepelogo. Super cute animated bird. And we need him actually to start the first dungeon, because there is a place where we can actually not jump over here, and we need him to go over, because with Pepelogo we can make a double jump. Oh yeah, the blue things, yeah. Well, it's not hard, not easy to follow the chat actually when you're speedrunning at the same time, but yeah. White Sophia, if he stays with that run, will definitely give all the informations of this run if you want. Since I have definitely to look at my movement and don't fall into pits and everything. So yeah, if you have any questions about things what you're just seeing in that run right now, what you're like questioning yourself if I don't explain it, feel free to ask. We try to inform you. And the good thing is, when you are falling into the pit, for example here, you are just starting in the beginning of the screen again, not like from somewhere. So every screen what you are passing, you would start again when you would fall into the lava or whatever. Or just get lightened or something like that. You would always start in the last screen. These are the blue drops what we are mentioning. If you have 10 of them, you get an extra heart. So yeah, this game is actually really forgivable. We got you. Good luck. Yeah, I will heal myself when I fight the mini boss to get the big heart there. So we have then a save run definitely. But until now, we don't have the super save run. So we come to the first infinite jump. What is an infinite jump? You get higher. You get higher with your Pepper logo when you're using a special input, and that makes that speedrun fun because you can actually reach higher places what we are using in that speedrun to get some things. So the infinite jumps help us to make a short track. So we are having, for example, we are entering a dungeon without even having the key by using the infinite jumps and jumping over a wall. Or we are using infinite jumps in the pyramid because then we get some, how's it called, some items on places where we actually have to go different. And yeah, the wiggle animation is really cute. Also when you get later, also when you get later, when you're having, when you are in iframes, you can actually not activate anything on your stuff what you have. So you have to wait until your iframes go away. It's a little bit bad. This is the thing what I don't like about this game, but the rest is fine. So they really make a lot of cool stuff from that character when she's falling down, or when she's using Pepper logo, when she's happy, when she gets water. So they really made it really wonderful, animated that game. They put a lot of effort into all the character designs and also all the things what she's doing. So definitely they put a lot of effort just to make the character making or looking really cute in many positions. Incredibly slower in English. Definitely, yeah. So it was only Japanese only release, like I mentioned, and then it came for the PlayStation Store, for example. And they finally made an English introduction. And the hardest part about this game is actually not the gameplay for us. It is the swings, the ice pyramid swings, where we have to answer 7 of 20 questions correctly in Japanese. And that causes us a lot of runs because we have to get the right answer, and one mistake and you are actually start again from the beginning that quiz. And that quiz is actually what, I think 30 minutes in the game. So we know we need a little bit Japanese talking. 10 questions, you hear it. Here we have hopefully a quick kill. No, we just messed it up. There's the quick A. Hey, we got the quick A in the second try, but that was not intended. Wiggle, wiggle. So here we just saw the situation when we are collecting a big heart. Then we are just getting the whole refilled of everything what we have, of all of our hearts, even the blue hearts if we would have some of them. So the big hearts are actually refilling our HP completely. And here we have some fire ghosts. You can kill them if you want, you don't have to. This game is wonderful. I definitely recommend to play that game if you are liking Shantae, for example. It has wonderful music and a lot of exploring. But yeah, you definitely need, if you don't know Japanese, you need the collection to play this game, because there's only Japanese cartridge. So if you want to play that game, I think you have to look into the stores of these all these online things you already know, and then search for the Monster World collection, I think. But I cannot tell you right now because I play on the Japanese one. So, music, music, music. The dungeons in this game are super long. So every dungeon is like 8 to 10 minutes, every part. So the speedrun is actually around an hour. And you will have to clean a lot of stuff in the way in that dungeon before you finally beat the boss or play the boss. And the wiggle animation is definitely something people love to see the first time. And the iframes are much longer of her, and at least you can run with this character. It's the first time in the Wonder Boy game that you can actually speed up by running. By what is it called? Double tap into one direction, you can get the running animation, and it stops every time when you're jumping or when you're using an attack, and then you have to start again with the running. Sudoku. So, dungeon is super long, like I said. We have to make a lot of stuff here to go forward. What I also find very cute is the animation when you use the bomb, because she's running away and holds her ears closing. Definitely, really, like I already mentioned, they made a lot of effort to get that feeling of that character is more alive, that she's not having nothing to say. She's really more like emotional than the other Wonder Boy characters, and that comes because they animated her for some stuff. And now we are coming to the next very important infinite jump in this game to save time. You can actually go to the left, but then you're of course much slower. This ghost can be really annoying, like you can see. But you can actually use here the infinite jumps to just go up and don't go to the left. Why I didn't collect that platform, I don't know. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. So, now we are here on the top. Normally you would have activated here that platform, what would go up, but since you have Pepe logo you can actually jump over that. So you don't have to activate that stone. And now we have a lot of enemies, and if you would not have that weapon what you have right now, you would need 2 hits of them. So with your legendary sword you actually can kill a lot of these bosses and these mini guys like the normal enemies really fast, and that makes it definitely enjoyable. Ay, ay, So here's the platform, and if we would just jump into the lava, we would have died, but we would start again in the last screen what we had just entered, so they would not throw us really far behind. That's actually a cool part. And Pepe Logo can also not screw you up, but you see, like, sometimes he's not coming. We just landed in the lava, and then you start again the screen, like you see, like the last screen you just entered. You always get that situation that you can start from that again. So they are not actually throw you really far behind to a checkpoint or whatever. They are actually let you play at least the last the last room what you just entered, what is really cool. So it's auto-save every time. And now the boss is asking, "Oh, you really want to go to the boss?" Yeah, and then we talk. And normally this guy would take a lot of time because we don't have the sword. But since we have this overpowered sword, he's quickly destroyed. With the lower sword, of course, you would take forever, but he's already dead. Goodbye, thank you very much for coming. And we defeated the first boss. And we are now helping, like, while we go to these dungeons, we get all these magical creatures out, and they are just telling us the way where we go. And another cool thing is that we get here a special armor with the debug merchant, and every time when we are beating a boss, actually, we get a new way of armor, like armor number 1, armor number 2, and armor number 3. And with these armors we can bring our friend Pepe Logo actually into a bigger situation. As you can see, he's not so small anymore, he's now a little bit bigger. And this is the dungeon I was mentioning, where we're just entering by jumping over the wall. And if we would jump over the wall with a small Pepe Logo, and we would not change him into the big Pepe Logo in the end, like in the dungeon, we would soft lock the game, because the game actually is not, like, is only allowing you to enter that dungeon if your Pepe Logo already grew up. Normally he grows up by eating a special fruit, but if you are just cheating your way to that next dungeon, and you somehow try to activate that he's cleaning up fire, what you will see later, and he's not big enough, you would softlock the game, because the game would then change him into the big one and you could not move anymore. The music would still run, but you would softlock. Correct. So, next dungeon. A dungeon what you actually don't have any big problems, because even if you would go into the wrong way, it would just put you out into the beginning or another room or whatever, and you would not lose any time. You would not lose the run, you would just lose time, because this is not so difficult actually to find the right way. And here you see the infinite jumps that we try to go fast up. So we are skipping a lot of parts by using that infinite jump, by going up. Helps us a lot. Also, like I already mentioned, can you just die, thank you, to skip dungeons and skip parts, or getting some items, especially in the ice pyramid, faster. And here's another big skip later in upcoming in that dungeon. It's called the bucket skip. Even when we are getting the bucket, we call it the bucket skip, because after collecting the bucket, normally the game wants you to walk all the way back, but with the infinite jumps you can actually go there and make that infinite jump. It's a one try thing here with Pepologo. But if you get it, of course, you save a minute. If you don't get it, you lose a minute. The speedrun can actually die in that moment when you're on the speedrun track and you really look for a good time. Yeah, it's definitely a cool trick. I didn't get it, I think, in the Monsterfecta in the last Blaster process, but let's see if I get it this time. So we are coming closer to that bucket, what we are collecting, and then there comes this bucket skip. And sometimes Pepologo can actually mess you up because he's not near to you. You need him, but if he's not near to you and you cannot connect to him, sometimes you cannot even do the bucket skip because yeah, Pepologo is not near to try even at least. I will try to show you right now, let's see if we get it. So I will be quiet. And we got it. So we saved a minute. At least I got this time this. So normally you would have to go all the way around, but with it bucket skip you can actually directly take the water and don't have to run around and can directly use that to clean the fire. It's a really difficult skip and it is coming after 28 minutes in the run or something. So it's a reset point, a big reset point, and imagine you are like playing 20 or 30 minutes in the game and you just lose the run because two things, Pepologo is not there or you just missed the bucket skip. It's definitely hard for your mind, and if you are on PB pace and you have managed to play everything good before and then you lose it there, sometimes you're even thinking, why do I have to try it again? Yeah, it's something we don't actually know why she's going like that and like that coming out. Cute animations here when she's collecting water, she's smiling. You can see that right now. Super cool. So the designers made really a lot of things with the character. But how they made that she's going like forward inside and then going backward outside, we actually don't know. Perhaps it's a problem with the character that they couldn't bring her face out first, so it would be looking weird. So that's why perhaps you always see her in the same animation that she comes out like she's going in. So perhaps they couldn't do it, or it was just easier to do it like that way, to go the same direction in and out without losing so much time. Perhaps it would be too much programming if they would have made that in the correct way, that she looks in the same way, like she's going in with the head forward and then she's coming out with the head forward. I guess would be perhaps hard to program, we are not sure, cannot tell you. So we have here these cute little thunder things. If you touch them you just get thundered and you have to start the screen again. But we don't want to touch them, so we're just continuing. And the most annoying part about this game is actually that you always have to double tap to run every time again. Here's another boss, he can directly do that and that helps. And now we have to wait until this mini bird is coming out. A big heart would actually bring us again into the situation that we got a refill, but we don't need. Because the funny part is actually in the end we want to lose the hearts again, so we are not losing so much time at the queen fight later. Yes, the queen, what we are actually having as a friend girl, we have to fight later as an opponent because she gets cursed from Biomecha, the guy we just beat it. in the last fight, in the last game. And this is a way how to use the platforms I was finding out myself. In my eyes, a no stop. You don't have to wait there. Oh. Keep on wiggling. Okay, have a good one, White Sapphire. Yeah. If you want to see a cool run, definitely watch HDQ 2019 when White Sapphire was playing that game with live commentating together with Tina Hex. Really cool speedrun. I watched it, I was commentating it for the German restream. So if you want to see on live on stage that game and the GDQ runs, just watch that run again. And we are close to the end actually of this dungeon, about to then enter the last dungeons. Here we have like a small skip, and now we are just throwing the bucket inside. And the quest is like you always have to say no. And no is always the down part, and then you can pass. And you see really cute Pepe logo animation from Ariel. And now we fight the next boss. And since we have the overpowered sword, he has 2 phases, he's super quickly dead. That is the big opportunity or the big good thing about the legendary sword. That these guys are super quickly. Can you just jump over me? Thank you. It is not in purpose right now. He's dead. That's what matters. Okay, second dungeon done. And we, like I already mentioned, we are bringing these magical creatures out, and they have been hidden by the bad guys. And now we are just collecting a key to get into the ice pyramid part. The ice pyramid part is a 3 dungeon thing. You have to go into 3 parts of the pyramid, and all the pyramids are completely different. The first one is with secret doors. The first one is with doors, but you have to answer in the right order. The second one is with secret doors, and the third one has a lot of ice running. So music is cool in the ice pyramid. We are definitely having now the longest dungeon in front of that. No, this is the Genesis, in that case the Mega Drive, because it came out only for the Japanese market. So you see right now the Mega Drive 16-bit console. And now we are just entering the last dungeon before we actually go to the end. And we are selecting the 3rd armor to bring Pepe Logo into the biggest form what we can, because we need him, and the door would not open until we would have not Pepe Logo in the, for us, biggest form. You can see him, he is now bigger, he has now these cat hairs. And we actually need him in the dungeon for one reason, because we have to make him into an ice block. So he helps us to reach some doors. And he's so heavy right now that Asha can even not hold him. It's also a very cute animation, what I will show you later, especially in the dungeon when we are going into that part where we are just flying around using the elevator, sorry. So every time when she's on the ground, she can actually not hold him because he's too heavy. And these guys can be really annoying because they have double swords. And they can be really messing you up, as you can see. And we hate them because they are never stopping to flap around. Really annoying enemies. And we're going to the first part, Ice Pyramid 1. First door, second door, and then in the third door we have to answer a quiz in Japanese. So, first Ice Pyramid part. Enjoy the music a little bit. We have a lot of ice platforms here, and we have to do a lot of snake kills in the first dungeon especially. And there are some doors where we have to put some codes inside. And if you are answering that codes wrong, you get some spares in your way and you have to try again. And this is definitely a very chilly music. And definitely the tracks they made for Monster World 4 are so good made. So if you would just hear the soundtracks, it would be really relaxing in many ways. A really great music tracking from the creators. Like I already mentioned, it's a pity that this game came out in the end of the Mega Drive and Genesis time, when they already tried to, when the PlayStation was out, I think, and when they started to launch the Sega Saturn. So yeah, it's just a pity that it came out so late. And now we have another really infinite jump to get here that item. You have to collect 5 status, 5 items in every pyramid and bring them into the right order to open the door to the boss. There is a tutorial made by Tina Hex where you can actually learn how to open the doors and in which order you have to make these status that they are opening actually the door to the boss. The first one is called Those, the second one is called Bout, and the third one is called Oats. And the funny part is there's actually a streamer called Oats and Goats, so the third one is actually something you always could remember if you know that speedrunner Oats and Goats. So yeah, wiggle wiggle, a lot of wiggle wiggle. We are just continuing our way to the dungeon and not far anymore away from the end of that first Ice Pyramid dungeon. And then we are just going into the second one. Wiggity wiggity wiggity. I know that you like this animation, and me too. You can kill these guys, but normally the best thing is just to jump over them. And now you see here the animation. Pepilog is so heavy that she can barely hold him. She can actually not move. She can just watch into one direction or the other direction. So you can see that Pepe is already grown so big that she cannot hold him anymore. So he's super heavy right now. And even that is a thing what you have to say that the designers and creators of the game put a lot of work and ideas in that game. And now we are coming just to the first part where we have to put these status what we just collected into the right order. And yeah, if you don't do it correctly, they just disappear. So it is T for turtle, H for hunt, O for owl, S for sparrow, and since we are saying those, it's A for angel, but it's actually kind of those. And we go into the first boss fight of this Ice Pyramid part, fighting this guy here. So this guy is actually doing a lot of damage. He's throwing ice, and he can throw his hammer. And since we have low HP, I just take the heart again because I messed it up completely. So, out of that. Was the first boss. There's actually a quick kill. I was just messing it up completely, so you didn't see the quick kill, sorry. Next dungeon! Ice Pyramid Part 2. Ice Pyramid Part 2 is interesting because you have a lot of secret doors. You can actually don't see that secret door, but if you throw your Pepe logo in the way, he just makes that, and then you can actually see and know where you have these secret doors. So, a casual player would have used always Pepe logo to show where these doors are, but since we are speedrunners, we don't have to use that. We know actually where we have to search. And here is like a tricky part. Here is like the ground is open, and if you would just fall down, it would be really difficult to go up again. So we are just going always into the secret doors because we know where they are. But yeah, a casual player actually would have not so big problems if he would know what to do to open them. And here's the biggest reason why we use or why we need our friend Pepe logo in the biggest form, because we make him into an ice block and then we have a platform what is high enough to go into these doors. That is the biggest reason what the game is giving us, why we have to take Pepe logo in this third form. If he would not be big enough, we would not have the right highness of the platform to enter these doors. Frozen. I have to, I'm sorry. It has to be. The game is like this. You cannot reach the door without that. I would love to not frozen, but I have to. And now we're just going up again. You can throw this guy, but yeah, he's so heavy as you can see. He's like sitting on the head. And Asha almost losing the weight on her. Murder! No, he's like always coming back, so you don't have to worry. Even when he's in ice, he will always come back. Poor bird. So yeah, all the doors, secret doors you can find with Pepe logo. Spaghetti arms. Yeah, I was thinking the same when I saw that the first time. She has more spaghetti arms. And all the secret doors everywhere, you know. You have to find them, knowing where they are actually. We are right now on Monsterfecta 4, the last game of the Monsterfecta speedrun I was showing up. And the 6th game of the Wonder Boy series, Wigga Wigga 3. Yep, so this game is called Monsterfecta 4. It's the 6th game of the Wonder Boy series, the last game of the installment of the classic games. And after that, the speedrun is done, and we will hopefully not break the estimate of 3 hours, but it looks good until now. Da-de-da. The word record in this game is actually held by a Japanese person called Sazan or Saha, and his time is a 56 already, 56 minutes in that category. And my time is a 59 minutes and 17 seconds. So yeah, Sa is really fast in this game, and he holds both categories word records, the any percent debug merchant and the any percent, and he's really good in this game. So we are just almost done with the second pyramid, and now we are just to do that here again. It's called bowed with D, and in the end you need the T. So the second password is actually a little bit tricky because it's like you have to think about a boat, but not writing boat. You have to write bowed and not with T, with D. A little bit complicated actually to remember that, but yeah, if you play this from time to time, of course, as a speedrun, in the end you will understand how the password goes. and how you have to put these status all in the right time. And after that boss fight, what is coming up, we have actually the Sphinx Pyramid questions, and hopefully we can get that first try. First we beat the boss, and then we have like the questions on Japanese, and that is also a very, very big reset point. And this is the quick kill of this guy. Cool, now comes the quiz. I will be shutting up. First try! Didn't even practice it. So yeah, this was the quiz on Japanese, and try to play this game when you don't know Japanese as casual player. Looks so easy, I swear. It's not. 20 questions, and I think you have to answer 10 of them correctly. So that is the biggest problem of speedrunning, that to answer these questions correctly and knowing even the answers. And it took me a lot of time actually to see the patterns. That is the wrong one, by the way. Anyway, 100% is the hardest part. You're going for real right now? Okay, man. Next category I want to learn in this game is actually the 100% category, where you play all the dungeons, but you play on really low HP. 100% is much harder than any percent, because you play with low HP. Also, you make like less damage because you don't have this overpowered sword. So if you want to start with one category in this game, you should start with the any percent debug merchant, because you have a lot of hearts and a super good sword. But if you need a challenge, you definitely should try out the any percent. This is This is on the Mega Drive, Japanese release only. You can also get this game on the Monster World collection with English text for the, I think, PlayStation and Xbox and 360 and stuff like that. But it's actually for the Mega Drive, and it was in the time when the Sega Genesis and the Sega Mega Drive actually stopped producing games and started to launch the Sega Saturn. So it was in 1994, if I'm knowing correctly. So a very late game for that system, but one of the best games definitely. And they put a lot of effort, but like I said, only Japanese only release. And to get an English text, you actually have to buy the collection for the PlayStation or for another system like Xbox or something like that, because it was never English version out in the regular market. So you have, if you really want to have a real copy, you need the Japanese copy, because there's only existing the Japanese copy, there's no English version. Yeah, and Papaloga has another ability in this game right now as a third one. He can actually destroy ice. And we are just bringing that guy away, so we can just directly go into that part here. And we are really close to the end of that dungeon, that ice pyramid dungeon. And then we are using the infinite jumps again. The trick what I was already mentioning, to jump higher. To skip one dungeon, because normally you would have to play one more dungeon to get into the final form of the Queen boss fight. But you are actually, like, normally the door would be closed and you would just get the information that the queen is not feeling sick and does not want to see you in the beginning, like when you're entering that palace. But you can actually use the infinite jumps to enter that castle of the queen, that palace, 2 times, and fight her even before you actually are allowed to fight that queen. So we are using the infinite jumps in a special place to just trick the game out that we are already there and that we can fight the queen already. So here's the last password. It's called Oats. So O for owl, A for angel, T for turtle, S for sparrow, and then we just put the D for dog. Wiggle wiggle. So, last boss, Ice Pyramid, and then we are about to finish the game very soon. Last dungeon upcoming then, before we fight the queen boss. So here we have this ice monster, and the ice monster is always coming to us, throwing their hammers. And that was a really fast fight. Nice. And here's the last treasure, the last ghost. And now we are coming to the last dungeon. My actual PB, just to let you know, is 2 hours, 35 minutes and 29 seconds. So we just kind of passed my PB. Just to let you know what time I already brought that down. So if you want to beat that time, feel free to try. I would love to have some competition. Anyway, now we are just using here the infinite jumps to climb here up. And then just entering the palace dungeon from the behind. It's of course a little bit tricky because like the screen is going up and then it's not going up anymore. So this was the 3rd try. And now we are just entering that palace from the behind, from the back door, what is actually not allowed. But since we know these infinite jumps, we can do that. So, back door, secret shop we just passed from the beginning. And now we are just going into the queen fight. Queen has to be hidden 3 times. And yeah, actually it's always good to have not so much HP here, because in the end the queen is actually hitting us and bring our HP anyway down. So it's always good to have like 6 or 5 HP here. The queen is really pissed because she got I don't know, she got a magic thing on her. This Pepper helper is now a slave, and our Pepper just died. And we have to revenge him. And let's see what kind of pattern this woman gives us. The worst, starting to fly. It's like the worst pattern. You have to wait until she comes down. Ay. Not helping us right now. But it's okay. So, we killed her and we still have 2 HP. That's okay. No! So, we have 2 HP. Pepe Logo is dead, but since we have this armor, look what we have. We have a clone of Pepe Logo. Funny, huh? So, even when Pepe Logo is dead, we can still use him. Poor, but this is how the game goes. And now we go into the back door. Use the clone of Pepe Logo. Go up again. And now we are just meeting the queen again. This time we need at least 1 HP to fight this queen. We don't have to fight her anymore, we just get knocked out. She's talking with us and then we see a really funny cutscene because there are not allowed to be 2 Pepper logos on the same screen, but we will have the Pepper logo twice on the screen. And since we have him twice on the screen, you will have a really funny animation of Pepper logo. The second one, what is actually a cutscene, an unskippable cutscene, what we are just doing right now. So here we just get hit by her, and then she's saying, "Bring your Pepper logo to you, bring it, no worries, where is he?" And we bring Pepper logo on the screen by this. But Pepper logo looks a little bit different. It's a pixel Pepper logo. Why? Because I already mentioned 2 Pepper logos cannot be on the same time on the screen, and since we have this clone Pepper logo, the other Pepper logo cannot be shown correctly. So until that cutscene is played, when it's finished, you will see Pepper logo in his real true big form, what is the last form of him. And then you see him in the normal way. And then we just go into the last dungeon. The Underground Port was like a refighting dungeon where you fight all the enemies and all the mini bosses again before you fight the last 2 bosses and finishing the Monsterfecta. So this is unskippable. Can break a little bit your mind. And now we are just skipping here the text. There's a Pepper logo, he's looking like that in the end form. And he's refilling all of our HP. And we are going into the last dungeon. The Underground Fort. Arabic style, but the music is like similar to the other Wonder Boy themes in the last dungeon. So you will hear a similarity to the other Wonder Boy endings, what you already heard. So yeah, they brought the same music again. And like I already mentioned, you will fight all the enemies again. Some of the enemies you have to fight, some of them don't. You see these doors, they get broken in the moment when you are defeating all the enemies on the screen what you have to defeat. If not, they would stay like unlockable. And you have again all the enemies showing on the screen. And some of them you have to kill. It's of course better to kill them to not get hit, because we don't want to have the situation that we have low HP in the last boss. But as a casual player, of course, there's no refill, so you don't get actually hearts so many times from the enemies. The mini bosses are also not showing any of the big hearts. They're always only giving you only money. So yeah, the biggest problem is, of course, especially as a casual player, to enter the last dungeon without losing too much hearts. Most of the enemies are not dropping any hearts, they're only dropping money, but we don't actually need that. And here you have some enemies what are only shown in this dungeon. You don't see them in any other dungeon. They are only here, these magic wizards, and you have to kill them because these guys had been like this door what you just saw. And yeah, some of the enemies you never saw before because we skipped the one dungeon what I was already mentioning. And that's why some of the enemies you actually never saw, like for example these big coin guys. And we are just fighting our way down here to that mini boss time. This mini boss you already know was really annoying. You have to run away that he's coming to you. And he's really annoying right now. Let's run and get him. And then we run and get him. Ciao. So yeah, all the presentation of these enemies again. We have a healing potion with us, so even in any case when we are really on low HP, we can refill our HP with that potion, what I just collected in the beginning. So the run is actually much safer. Normally in the speedrun you avoid that potion because it causes like 10 seconds, and yeah, you want of course to save all the time you get. Here's another mini boss we just killed quickly. I think, yeah, the PlayStation Monster World collection is definitely worth. I think it's even the one with the English text inside. I think it's on the Japanese PlayStation store, but it's, if you really want to play this game casually with English text, I think the only way is the PlayStation, the Japanese PlayStation store or the others. But I cannot actually tell you because, like I said, I play the Japanese version. But it's definitely worth, and I think it's not even so expensive. But you have to think about yourself. I think playing that on English version is definitely much enjoyable if you want to play it casually. And we are about to get to the last dungeon, the last boss fights. Xbox 360 also, and on the Wii correctly. These are the three where you can actually find that. So last two bosses, and then time will be coming very soon. In the moment when the last text box is coming up, I will mention the time. We are like, let's say 1 minute away from that. And I think we are not breaking the estimate at least. So first mini bosses, these help us. And you can see like you can actually block their hits. So it doesn't even matter which kind of shield. And these are the first. And now we are fighting Biomecha, the guy from the Wonder Boy Monster World, what already screwed us up today. And we have to fight this guy, and yeah, I will mention when we are close to the time. He has this 10 targets now. So you can just do that. And in the moment when our big friend Pepe Logo is coming down, we are close to time. Time comes up when the next text box is coming. And the time will be when it's shining right now. Time is around 2:46 something. And we finished the Monsterfecta screen.
GG.
Yeah. And it's done. So, that was a really intense run for me. We had some echo issues. So we'll just say thank you very much for watching. If you want, watch me later on Snow Brothers in the night. It was a really intense run for me, and I just hope that you enjoyed it and enjoy the marathon until now. Since we have echo issues, I just give my mic to our hosters, and I hopefully see you later again, and hope you enjoyed the Wonder Boys games. Bye bye from me.
Thank you so much. Well deserved GG on handling 4 games in a row and keeping great commentary to keep everyone entertained. And up next, following that epic endeavor, we have Spider-Man Web of Fire Any Percent by Pete's Door. So stay tuned for that. Coming up next on Blast Process 3.